ETFs is an extremely powerful tool to increase your wealth throughout the stock market. It's no wonder investing into ETFs has become a popular option ever since the creation of them, which dates back to the year 1993. But how do you begin investing in them? And this is exactly the guide I wish my younger self had when I first bought my very first ETF stock. In this video, I will reveal to you the one and only video you will ever need to start your ETF investing journey. So without further ado, let's start with the first topic. Let's begin with the basics and take this back a notch to defining the meaning behind an ETF stock. ETFs stand for Exchange Traded Funds. ETFs are known to be SEC-registered investment companies that offers a customer a variety of multiple stocks all bundled up into one. Think of an ETF as a huge basket, and within that basket you hold many eggs, which will be many different types of stocks. Investing into ETFs is often considered to be one of the safest options when it comes to investing in the stock market, as they are diversified into many well-known stocks and sectors. So whenever a stock is having a terrible year, it wouldn't really affect your stock portfolio because the others will make up for it, keeping your portfolio or ETF stock you hold in the green and earning you even more money. As the valuation of the companies within that ETF continue to rise, it's no wonder investing into ETFs is a popular option for many investors. Now that you know the meaning behind an ETF stock, let's move on to the next important topic. So before you even think of investing into an ETF or trading them, you will first need to open a brokerage account. There are multiple to choose from, and the best brokerage accounts are Fidelity, Vanguard, Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade, and Webull. There are many to choose from, but personally, I like using Fidelity and Webull. Keep in mind that if you're someone who plans to hold ETFs for years, I recommend you choosing a brokerage account that you are comfortable and familiar with, because at the end of the day, it's going to be for you. You could also sign up for multiple and choose one that best suits you. I like organizing my individual stocks and ETFs into two different brokerage accounts to simplify my investments. So if this is something you may be interested in, then by all means feel free to copy me. Another important thing I believe it's worth mentioning is that if you plan on investing for, let's say, 10 years, or you may be someone who likes short-term investing, or maybe just general investing, I advise you to open up a standard brokerage account. But if you plan on investing into ETFs for retirement purposes, I advise you to skip all of that and go ahead and open up a Roth IRA. A 401k or even a SEP IRA may also be suitable for retirement. You may even want to invest into both retirement and short-term, and that's totally fine. And this is why I believe having multiple accounts comes in handy. Did you know that there are currently around 2,000 ETFs in the stock market at the moment? And out of the 2,000 ETFs out there, realistically, you only need a few, and possibly even just one. But how do you choose an ETF? It could be overwhelming when it comes to choosing an ETF, especially as a beginner. You will need to do research and due diligence to narrow down your options. And later in this video, I will reveal a special tool you could use to help you choose that one special ETF that will fit your investing journey. There's ETFs for every investing style. For example, you may be a young investor who may want an ETF that will be much more aggressive with high potential for growth. Or you may be approaching retirement and want an ETF with less volatility and more stable during hard economic times. There's even ETFs out there that focuses on paying out dividends. With plenty of options to pick from, it may be a bit tough sorting through them, but lucky for you, I will help you and show you a pretty sweet tool you could use to help you find your one ETF. This right here is an ETF database. You could use this helpful website to sort through all of the many types of ETFs listed in the stock market. This tool will help you organize your options and categorize them by different sectors or interests you may have. For example, there's consumer staples, also known as essential stocks. And when you click on it, it ranks each one of these ETFs within the consumer staple sector. It also tells you their stock ticker symbol and the whole name of the ETF fund, as well as a bunch of other sweet details about each one of these ETFs. You may also be interested in dividend paying ETFs, which this website also helps you sort them out. And for any of you who don't know what dividends are, don't worry because I will touch on the subject later in this video. You could also sort through them by country, which means you will be selecting an ETF that only holds stocks or companies in that certain country. So if you're interested in investing into a certain country, this may be another feature you may also like. And if you're someone who just needs more help selecting an ETF, don't worry because I will also review the best ETFs and my personal favorites to invest in later in this video. Another thing that I like doing before buying an ETF is to look up their profiles. This basically summarizes the ETF and gives you some intel on that specific ETF fund that you choose to look up. Let's say you choose to invest into an S&P 500 ETF and end up going with VOO. You could actually search this ETF online by typing VOO, and once you're here, just click on their website and this will lead you to an overview of this exact ETF. You get to see pretty nice things about this ETF fund that the company will actually provide you with. For example, it offers you a quick product summary for this ETF fund. We could read that this ETF invests in stocks in the S&P 500 index, representing 500 of the largest US companies. So this ETF holds the top 500 companies in America. It also says that its goal is to closely track the index return, which is considered a gauge of overall US stock returns. Great, we now know that this ETF is closely monitored, and the stocks inside this ETF is constantly changing based on their performance. This is quite nice because this ETF is only interested in quality stocks, and it gets rid of all of the stocks that are not doing so great or going bankrupt. So by picking this ETF, you wouldn't have to worry about doing research and analysis because this ETF already does this work for you. Down below, we could also read that it offers high potential for investment and growth. Share value rises and falls more sharply than that of funds of holding bonds. This ETF tends to be much more volatile compared to bonds. And lastly, they mention that it is appropriate for long-term goals where your money's growth is essential. And below this, we get to know the fund management, which is Vanguard Equity Index Group. There is also some very great details like the inception date of this ETF fund, which dates back to September 9, 2010, and a bunch of other info. If you guys want to read more about this ETF stock, I will leave all the links down in my description. Another thing that I like looking at before buying any ETFs or any individual stocks is its past performance. This gives you an idea of this stock and it really says a lot about it. So if we scroll down, we could look at the history of this ETF fund and look at its past performance. You're able to watch the 1 month, the 3 and the 6 month, as well as the 1, 3, 5 and 10 year chart. I personally like to look at the 5-year chart because it gives you a pretty good indication of where this ETF will likely go within the next 5 years. And every time I invest into a stock or ETF, I always invest into a company that has a good 5-year chart. I look for stocks with a 5-year chart and is trending upwards. This is one of my requirements because let's be honest, no one wants to invest into a company or ETF and lose money. You also might want to check out the past 10-year performance, as it could give you much better understanding of its history. And another great thing you should definitely check out when looking at ETF profiles is the sectors. Down below we could see just that. This ETF biggest holding is in the information technology, which is 28.10%. This means that 28.10% of this ETF holds stocks inside that sector. Next up is healthcare at 13% and financials at just a little bit over 12%. And if we continue to scroll down, you'll be able to see the top individual stock holdings and so much more. And this type of information is available for all ETFs out there, and they will all have their own website summarizing the ETF, which contains important information just like the one we currently saw. Now that you know about ETF profiles, there's another important and crucial thing you should definitely be aware of, and this is fund overlap. This simply means that 2 or more of your ETFs are investing and holds the same exact stocks. This could potentially hurt your portfolio, and I'll show you guys how in just a bit. But for now, let me give you guys a quick example of what a fund overlap looks like. So there's an amazing tool online that I like using whenever I invest into ETF funds, and this website is called Fund Overlap. I will leave the links down in my description to every website I mentioned in this video. So in this website, it literally does all the work for you and save you so much time and effort. Let's say that you end up investing into 2 ETFs named VOO and SPY, and if we were to type these 2 ETFs here and click on the fund overlap button, it's indicating us that these 2 ETFs are 99% the same. These 2 ETFs happen to both be S&P 500 index funds, which both tracks the same top 500 companies in America, making it almost identical to each other. And this could potentially hurt your portfolio because all of your eggs will just be in one basket instead of spreading your eggs into multiple baskets. This helps you become much more diversified and prevents volatility in your investing portfolio. Imagine if the top 500 companies in America isn't doing too good. Since you're invested into 2 ETFs that follow the S&P 500, your portfolio will no doubt be in a negative. To overcome this, it will be great to be aware of an ETF fund overlap, and I encourage you to use this amazing tool which could help you in just that. Now that we got this out the way, let's now talk about dividends. For those who don't know, dividend stocks are companies that will actually pay you a small percentage of their earnings just to hold their stock. And there are actually ETFs out there that will actually only hold stocks that pay out dividends. One dividend ETF is called SCHD, and this ETF holds approximately around 100 dividend paying stocks. SCHD has a dividend yield of around 3.6%, and its dividends is paid out every 3 months to people who holds this ETF stock. Now that you understand the basics behind behind dividend stocks, let's now talk about how to buy your first ETF stock and how much money would you need to start investing. I kinda went over the first question, but I will mention it again. I personally like Fidelity and Webull, but you could also check out other great platforms like Vanguard or possibly even Robinhood. Webull and Robinhood tend to be more user-friendly, but a brokerage account like Fidelity has been around for decades. I will leave my referral links down below in my description. If you sign up with my referral link, we will both get rewarded with free stocks. So if you like free money like myself, what are you waiting for? And you can actually buy fractional shares of ETFs. In fact, I know that with Webull, you can actually start investing with as little as $5. It doesn't cost a lot to start investing, so I encourage you to start because the more time you wait, the more you're losing out on having your money work and grow for you. And as a reward for watching through this whole video, I will reveal all the ETFs that I currently hold in my stock portfolio. So my favorite ETFs are VOO, QQQ, and SCHD. I also hold a bit of ARKK and ICLN. I hope you guys liked today's video. I put a lot of time and effort putting this video together. So thanks for watching. Feel free to comment below any thoughts that you may have or any questions. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to learn more when it comes to investing into the stock market. It's been your boy Kendrick, and I'm out. Peace.